Hi, this is Pam, Flower Patch Farmhouse, and today I'm going to show you how I paint hummingbirds. And I'm doing a test run here with my iPhone. I may in the future decide I don't like this and go ahead and do it with my camera, but this is just, I'm giving it a shot. Here's my outline of my hummingbird. Now I paint, I try to imitate. I don't try to recreate nature, so my paintings are never exactly lifelike. So let's get started. I am going to start with some green. I am using, here's my palette on my plate, these Deco Art colors and Deco Art Americana. These are just the craft paints. They're easy to use, easy to get. And here is Avocado, Alizarin Crimson. The fuchsia I tried on the other one, but it just wasn't dark enough. So I might mix it with alizarin crimson and see what I get. Here is some black, titanium white, and this is neutral gray. And we'll get started. I'm going to begin with his wing back, just kind of get the outline of the wing. I'm sorry for the shadowing. The lighting in here is not that great because it's now past 4 o'clock and it's getting dark. So here's the outline of the upper edge of the wings. And then I will get my other brush to do his head. And oh, there it is. I had misplaced it. This is a number 8 Royal Majestic Bright. I could also use Donna Dewberry One Stroke. I also like Low Cornell. Can't remember if it's 7100 or 7300 series, something like that. Now I'm going to do his head, and I just kind of work in the colors. I don't mind if it's streaky because that kind of emulates feathers, not flowers. And not perfect. And then I'll go along his back a little bit with some of the green. Now they're usually iridescent, and there are iridescent colors or pearlescent, what I'm not sure what they call them, and metallics, and that would make him nice and shimmery like hummingbirds usually are, but I don't have those right now. We might have one. I'll have to look later to add on top. But okay, now I went and I'm just loading some white into my brush, and I'm going to do his tummy area. The white doesn't show up real good against the paper, but I accidentally touched into the green, which is still wet, but that's okay because they are all different colors. And for his tail, I'm going to come in, and I probably should have done this first because the tail kind of goes up behind the tummy, but I can fix that. And I'm just going to flick from that a point there of the tummy, tail end of the tummy, and do his feathers. You can make them longer. Usually they're pretty short on some of them, unless there's the ones I saw in Florida, and they had these really long tail feathers, which was amazing to see. Okay, now I'm going to get a bit of this alizarin crimson on a corner of my brush and just fill in his throat. And I am liking that color for his throat, so I'm not going to mix it with anything else. And I'll come back and I'll deepen it a little bit once it's dried a little more. And in between the gray and the alizarin crimson, I just cleaned my brush. And I'm just doing the same because I'm going to go in the gray. And you'll see I have 2 layers. They have like an under layer and then a top layer of feathers. And I'm going to try to emulate the way the feathers grow, or when they're spread out, what they look like. Hopefully you can see this. I'm sorry for the shadowing. I need a better lighting system when I have to do this on dark, rainy days. It's been dark most of the day because we had a storm coming in. And I'm just going to go down and try to keep loading. Now I can come in and do another layer, so if this one isn't quite enough, and it doesn't matter, I've got them a little long. Like I said, we're just faking nature here. So there's the, oh, this one is really, they're longer. I should have done these from way back here. Okay, there is his under feathers, and then I will double load with white and the gray. And here's how I do that. I dip one corner, corner, and work it in. Work it into the brush, get plenty of paint in the brush. And to add some dimension, I'll just come in and add a few more flicks of the brush. I should have some auxiliary lighting here so you can see better. But like I said, I'm just learning this with the iPhone instead of having a regular camera. Okay, now on the tummy area also there is a touch of gray right along the edge, and so I kept my brush double loaded, and I'm using a very light touch to shadow that area. I'm going to get a little bit more white there so I can bring the tummy back down to the point like it does over the tail feathers. And I might have got his tummy a little too fat, but that's okay. And now we'll do his top feathers. I'm double loading again with the white and the gray. Now on the picture, there's a little bit of green, just a touch of green right here at the base, but I will take care of that later. And I don't have enough white, there's too much gray, so I'll go back and add more white, kind of lighten that gray. And you can just go back over it. And I just got too much on my brush, that's why it's got too fat. Let me fix that so I got the chisel edge again. Okay, now I want to add a little bit of that touch of that green anyway, so I pinched out my brush and I'm going to go back and kind of work in the back of the wing, and then I'm going to add that little touch of green and pinched out my brush really good again. When I say pinch it out, see, I just have a clean rag and I'm just pinching and pulling the brush through. Now I want to add a bit more green to increase the opacity on his head. Bring it down his back. Okay, and let's see, I don't think I got his. I need the alizarin crimson to be a little deeper in color. And I will use a liner for his beak, or I guess, yeah, his beak. They have long beaks. And I touch and pull. And then his eye. Now their eyes for me are a bit tricky. So I'm looking at my picture and it shows it further back than I did on the other one. About midpoint. And then it has this little touch of white at the back. And it kind of is a dark green in front. So I'm mixing my green and black to give it, like I said, I'm not too sure about this eye. But, and there, oh wait a minute, I gotta do his feet. Okay, so we'll do, try to keep it real skinny. My brushes, I need a new liner brush. It's getting a little worn out. And there is his feet. I'm not liking them real great, so I'm gonna, well, let me see, I probably should wait till they dry. Yep, wait till that black dries, then I can go over it with white and kind of fix them. I think they need to be shorter or smaller or something, but I can fix that with going over it with white. And that is basically how you do your hummingbird. So I think I have the eye figured out on the hummingbird. I'm going to do a small dot with my liner brush right here. The pictures I looked at, it looks like it's about that far away from the bill, from his beak. And then let that dry, and then I'm going to come back with some white and do the detailing. I'm coming back in with my liner and a dab of white, and I just outlined the bottom of his eye there, and I'm just going to barely touch to bring a little bit around the top. Very, very tiny thread-like stroke, and then I need a little bit more. I'm going to barely dot in the top there. Now there's always, not always, on some of them there is this little triangle shape that comes off the back of their eye. Now I need to look at my photograph again to make sure I'm getting this right. I'll be right back. Okay, I think I can do this. This takes a very delicate touch, very slight bit of a triangle coming back from the eye. Now if you don't like what you've done, you can always come back with some green and touch it up. But that is basically the hummingbird's eye. And I haven't done his feet on this one. The other one I got carried away, and I'll scoot it up here. You'll see I fixed his feet. They were a little too large there, so I'll put on this guy's feet and see if I can do a little bit better this time around. Okay, I'm getting my black on my liner. Oops, I just got it on my thing. And if you want, and I'm pulling it, making sure I'm pulling it to a point. This liner's about done. I need to get a new one here. And there is their feet, his feet. And that is how you paint a hummingbird. And I wanted to show you, I also painted some hummingbirds on this face. Let me get it to, got some shadowing there, but hummingbirds and trumpet vine on this glass vase. So that shows what you can do. It's not just on the paper, but